Ubisoft has often been criticized for being too derivative of their earlier titles, addicted to their tried and true formulas, and too afraid to venture into uncharted territory. However, like most rules, there's always an exception.
Welcome to Riders Republic, the open world extreme sports title that doesn't give a shit about anything. This game isn't trying to become a new esport, or worry about fine-tuned balance updates, or the opinions of dumb shits on Twitter. It's just a game that wants you to have fun, and builds everything around that fundamental concept. In the build of the game I played, there were 3 main sports to choose from, all with their own brand of enjoyment. The first were bikes, which were arguably the simplest. The controls are about as intuitive as they come, and the sense of immediate speed and control you feel is just fucking excellent. Without a fucking doubt, it was the best bike riding in any game I've played to date. The next category was snow sports, which was anything from snowmobiles to skis, and unsurprisingly, from developers who had an entire game of practice, they also felt just right. The last of the main 3 were air sports, which included a wingsuit and Buzz Lightyear cosplay. As much as this seemed like a personal preference, air sports were immediately my favorite, as because of the way the map is designed, there always seems to be some part of it going downhill, allowing players to sail only a few meters from the ground, for minutes at a time. At one point in time, I jumped from a mountain and followed a valley until I hit a sprawling lake, and when I eventually checked my position on the map, I realized that I'd just traveled 6 kilometers in the air. With this in mind, during this entire trip, I only saw a fraction of the entire map, because from corner to corner, the entire length is a whopping 21 kilometers long. Using some quick math, we figured out it would take around an hour and 50 minutes to walk the entire way, but that's not even factoring the huge fuck off mountains all over the place. However, with a map this enormous, Ubisoft rightfully figured it would feel depressingly empty without players to populate the slopes end to end, which is why using the power of the cloud, they're able to insert hundreds of ghosts across the map, which are just pre-recorded sessions from other players, inserted into your lobby as you play. There are of course real people within the lobby that you can come across, but seeing this technology on such a huge scale was incredibly impressive and improves the general community atmosphere a lot more than I think people realize. Although free roaming was where I had the majority of my fun, there were also a variety of competitive events, which is how you progress for better gear and earn bragging rights against other players. These ranged from a shit ton of races all over the map, a tricks competition, and simple meme events like delivering pizza. All of them turned me into a sweaty tryhard, especially when Daddy Skill Up was in the capture session. He might have an objectively superior gaming news series, but at least I didn't come last in a race with 59 other competitors. I can only assume that just like myself, he also chose his name ironically. This does bring us nicely into the main attraction of Riders Republic, the huge 60-player, 3-stage races that are partly a test of skill and mostly a test of mental fortitude when you inevitably crash and drop down 20 places in one easy step. But this beautiful clusterfuck doesn't stop there, because during each race, you'll be thrown into different disciplines along the way, meaning players aiming for a podium position better be real fucking good at every sport on offer. These hot swaps tended to serve as the great equalizer for these longer races, as although I was absolute dogshit at skiing events, I could often catch up 15 to 20 places when the wingsuit sections rolled around, before inescapably losing any gained ground to those godforsaken rocket bikes. In the build I played, there was sometimes a bug where the transitions wouldn't trigger properly, and it would end up costing a ton of time whenever it happened. However, I can happily report that this was the only bug I encountered during my playtime, and the rest of the experience was flawless, outside of a few classic Uplay issues.
I got the impression that Ubisoft was wise to delay the game from its initial February release date, and this level of polish are just the fruits of that extra labor. This might surprise viewers to know, but I really like games that put the concept of fun at the foundation of their experience, and without spiraling into yet another essay about how Titanfall has adopted this format so successfully, I'll just explain what I mean. The tricks system, for example, makes it incredibly easy to land even the most complex variations, because just like the Westboro Baptist Church, the game will aggressively attempt to straighten you out, so you'll never fail a trick and mess up a good run. Alternatively, if you're not keen to let Jesus take the wheel, you can turn on the advanced trick system, where you'll be expected to land upright or face a mouthful of dirt. However, as mistakes are bound to happen, players can also rewind to a previous position at any time they wish, with absolutely no limit to its usage. This means that both in free roam and during a race, you can just turn back the clock if your best laid plans unexpectedly go to shit. Before our hands-on session, our Ubisoft guide ran us through a PowerPoint detailing the general philosophy of designing Riders Republic and how it was based on 3 main pillars. Essentially, one of the pillars mentioned was the social aspect of the game, and as I studied business for several years before becoming a YouTube degenerate, I immediately thought to myself that this was just another piece of marketing bullshit that they threw into the presentation. Powerful agents to the uninitiated, and all that shit. However, Ubisoft immediately made me feel like a dumb fuck idiot when I realized that you can immediately fast travel to anyone in your group at any time, which sounds like a pretty standard feature until you realize how fucking fast this really is. Here's what the fast travel looks like in real time. That's it, not even long enough for a cutaway. We've truly come a long way from having to wait 2 fucking minutes to enter a building in Skyrim. But if you thought Ubisoft was done there, then prepared to be dazzled, because they'll even let you teleport directly onto a friend, even if they're flying down a mountain at 200 kilometers an hour. But don't become too impressed yet, because you can literally just change your sport at any time you want instantaneously, no matter where you are. This means, if you want to ride a bike on an alpine peak, or attempt to use a snowboard in the desert, you can. You are free to do so. What this also means is that players are able to build up a tremendous amount of speed with the rocket wingsuit, then immediately switch to another sport to take advantage of this speed hack. The developers genuinely don't give a shit, because if it sounds fun, they probably want you to make it happen. The character creator is functional, and I can confirm that you can play as Creepy Ninja if you so choose, but I expect most players will be wondering about the in-game shop. There seemed to be some cosmetics which were purchasable through in-game currency, but there were definitely a few pieces that were premium Ubi bucks only, and I expect this will be where the team will fund their post-launch aspirations. I have no idea how expensive each skin is likely to cost, and if for whatever fucking reason they try some dumb shit pricing, I'll be happy to be the first person to call it bullshit. However, I expect it to be in line with their other games, which isn't exactly the worst thing in the world. What I will say is that viewers looking to play this on PC will probably need to invest in a controller, because despite their best efforts, this isn't really designed with a keyboard and mouse in mind. Outside of monetization, my only real concern is the longevity of the title. This is obviously designed to be a game that likely won't ever have a sequel, and rather be built up to feature more activities and sports over time. Viewers only have to look at the crazy world of GTA Online to know how insane an open world live service can get, and with so many other sports like skateboarding, kayaking, skateboarding, street luge, skateboarding, and of course, skateboarding, who knows what the developers might add in the future. These were my impressions. Far Cry 6 is coming later. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. If you wanted a real review, you would have watched Skill Up.